Hello guys, once again it's Matt, and today we have another video. Thank you all the members, all the patrons. Make sure to subscribe and let's get into it, guys. So we had already the video talking about the 3 things that I think Gaijin actually got it right this year. So let's talk about 3 things that I think should have been added this year or should have been changed this year by Gaijin, and they did not. 3 things that are kind of like common sense, to be honest, but still I think it's very important to reiterate the point, okay? The first thing is more BR decompression. Yes, there is always the argument that BR decompression will increase queue times, and indeed it will, but there are decompressions that they can do, and it's not even in a way that it would actually increase the max BR of the game itself, although that would be the BR decompression itself, right? Of course, if it's not that, it's not a proper BR decompression, but there are some problems and troubles, especially in the BR range of 9.7 to 10.3, or even a little bit higher and a little bit lower, that you will face some very advanced missiles in air battles that I just think need some attention. They already did some changes during the year throughout those BRs. They, you know, from step up to step up, they eventually increased the BR of the Su-25, for example, which was something that was needed for a very long time. The A-10 as well. So in a general sense, yes, it is an improvement, but there is always the addition of the Su-25T, for example, the Su-25BM, and even the Su-39 that all have R-73s, and they can face these lower ranked aircraft that will be facing an R-73, especially the Su-25BM. The other two, I mean, they have already a higher BR, but the BM was kind of a weird aircraft to be added like that. Of course, there's always the thing that if they added those aircraft in a higher BR, they would be really bad, like it is the Su-39 and Su-25T in RRB, for example. But at the same time, do you really want to make a lot of people suffer adding these missiles at these BRs as well? So it's a difficult question to answer and a difficult problem to solve, but I think overall more BR decompression would solve all the problems. We don't want to face an M9L when you are in a MiG-15, of course. That doesn't happen right now, but used to happen, right? So it's progressively getting better, but I think it should be a little bit more aggressive on the regards of how to fix these problems. The second one is a more broad kind of line of thinking as well, but even more than the BR decompression, more engaging game modes, guys. I think it is kind of becoming a theme, and I hope they treat this a little bit on the roadmap that they're going to do in 2024. And that is just the game modes that are sometimes a little bit repetitive. Of course, in ground battles, you have a little bit more of a diverse kind of environment. You have more diverse maps, although the map should be a little bit more realistic, I would say, in the higher ranks, but that's a whole nother point. Even with the way that the game modes are and stuff, I just feel like the replay value of the game is more on the vehicles themselves than on the game modes, which means that it creates a whole bunch of problems, and it's just that, you know, when you are trying to do that, it kind of makes you kind of focus on the grind, which is the last thing that we're going to talk about. So having more engaging game modes would actually be a little bit more, you know, making the player stuck with stay stuck with the game without having to rely on the grind, which is sometimes the problem that I see happening in War Thunder, right? And in air battles, it's even worse. I think it's getting better, the game modes and stuff and the maps, but like sometimes it just adds something very cool, like the bigger maps for aircraft that can kill each other at 50 kilometers, but then add more aircraft, which increases the amount of furballs, and then with fire and forget missiles that are almost invisible to see sometimes from a longer range, it kind of is no, I'm not gonna say RNG kind of situation, but you have kind of a luck thing there that you have to position yourself in a certain area of not getting caught by surprise, and it is really, really hard sometimes to do that once there is a lot of people to worry about. So yeah, they are working on this type of thing, but I still think that it needs to be a little bit more engaging with different types of gameplays that you can do with different vehicles. Seed, anti-ship, everything like that can be added as to add more diverse kind of gameplay on the normal game modes that we have. And the last one kind of has something to do with that as well, which is basically they didn't shift the game from grinding to gameplay. What I mean about that is not that the game itself is focused on only on grind, but I think it's just a kind of a symptom of how the game is progressing. You know, it always have been a problem that I see a lot of people, I mean a lot of friends of mine, for example, didn't continue to play War Thunder because the grind was too high. And you know, the grind kind of makes the player stay in the game because you can have that elusive special vehicle that you want to get, and then you basically make yourself play with vehicles that you don't like until you get a vehicle that you like. It doesn't mean that every single time you need to play with vehicles that you only like. I mean, from time to time you need to basically play with vehicles that are worse a little bit, or more difficult, more challenging, or that are just a little bit more diverse from the original gameplay that you like. That will make you increase your skill and make you just a better player. But at the same time, I think when you relies too much on the grind to maintain you there playing, it makes you kind of on a vice, you know. It's kind of weird. So the grind needs to be less of a thing, I think. You know, how they would do that, I don't know exactly. Helping with the grind being a little bit easier would help a lot. So the economy update, for example, this year was a good thing because of that, but I think it's just the start. You know, it needs to be a little bit easier for you that really wants an F-15 but only have a MiG-29 in the USSR and never research on a NATO nation, to actually properly get the F-15 quicker. I think they are working on something with new nations and stuff that they talk about it, but it's not really implemented yet. So I really thought it should be added, something that helps you grind the nations that are a little bit different than your, you know, nation that you had before. So yeah, but basically this is it, guys. This is my idea of the 3 things that really needed to be changed a little bit more during the year, but they weren't. So hopefully in 2024 we get something like that. And yeah, let's continue to improve the game, helping the community and helping Gaijin to decide what is the best course of action of changing the game. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed. Make sure to subscribe, guys, and remember, have a happy new year. You know, stay with your family or friends, stay healthy out there, and yeah, I see you guys next year, tomorrow probably. I don't know if I'm going to take a day off tomorrow. I might, because my parents are going to be at home, so I might do one last video or something like that. I don't know exactly, but anyway, I hope you have an amazing New Year's Eve. And is it called it as New Year's Eve? I don't know, but still, New Year's. I don't know how you guys say that, but anyway. I'll see you guys on the next one. Make sure to subscribe